Well, folks, this is the Kear Morning Show. We'd like to say a pleasant good morning again, wherever you are. And today is Thursday, the 16th of April, 2026. And of course, we thought to bring the show outside this morning. It is a normal tradition, but today we are streaming live from the office of the ambassador at large, His Excellency Ambassador Alhaji S.A. Kuyate or Shep Kuyate. And on the first segment this morning, we have the the presidential candidate of the Reporters Association of Liberia, the mayor one calling president, Mr. Barclay Canley. And of course, my name is Jefferson. Weah, Obed, Gibah, and I, we here together. And behind the camera, Tuzon will be here. So the first segment will host Mr. Barclay Canley as he will be telling us his plans ahead of the elections on Saturday, the 18th of April. And then following that, 9 o'clock, the ambassador at large, His Excellency Kuyate, will sit with us and then climax the day. And so wherever you are, we're live on Facebook and KCN TV. Share the video, invite others to follow. Obed, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Jefferson. We are good morning, Liberians. Like Jeff rightly stated, we're live out here today. And of course, we are in the offices of the ambassador. And basically, it's part of our broadcast, which we intend to bring out there to prominent individuals and the ordinary people as well to get their views on issues of concerns from the comfort of their offices, their businesses, and at home. So watch out for us. We're going to be out there in the rural areas broadcasting the Kear Morning Show live from different locations in weeks to come. So as part of efforts to highlight activities within the media, one of the biggest auxiliary groups in the press union of Liberia is the Reporters Association, for which all of us, one way or the other, are part of, irrespective of whatever we are putting throughout the media landscape of our country. So one man who is vying for the presidency of that association will share his vision, his thoughts, and his team or agenda for the Reporters Association. If elected, how is he going to transform that association? And if defeated, how is he going to work with his fellow colleague to strengthen the Reporters Association of Liberia? Too many things to talk about as reporters are faced with, but Barclay Canley, the man whose flyer has been trending on social media across media journalistic chat rooms, opting and vying for the presidency of the Reporters Association, is here with us, hopefully to be joined by other colleagues of his team. But we'd like to say welcome back to the program this morning. Thanks so much for accepting our invite to have this live broadcast here from the offices of His Excellency Sheikh Mustafa Kuyate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Obed, and let me say good morning to Jeff too as well. And thanks for having me here on your radio live broadcast this morning. It's an honor. This is my first debut on this program. Thank you all so much. And to the Kear team as well for doing a very great job.
Great. Let's run strictly to it. Barclay Canley, you care to first of all introduce yourself and what's your media attachment, and then we move forward.
Well, again, my name is Barclay Canley Jr., and I currently write for the independent newspaper. I formerly worked for Joy FM and Prime FM, where I just recently resigned and I employed at the independent newspaper.
Great. How long have you been in the media landscape of Liberia and mainstream journalism?
Well, for over a decade now, Obed. You went together before, for nearly 3-4 years we worked together. So more than a decade now, I've actively practiced, and I'm still actively practicing reporting. I'm assigned active legislator specifically at the Liberia Senate.
As a reporter, the association is going to an election. You care to give us a backdrop of this election process? How is it? How has it been with the auxiliary? What's the historicity about the RDL election?
Well, let me start up with the roles and responsibility of the Reporters Association of Nigeria. So our cardinal responsibility, meaning the Reporters Association, is to advocate for the welfare and well-being of reporters across the country. And I think over the years of there, we've been slightly deviating from the functions of the Reporters Association. The Reporters Association of Liberia seems to be, a dormant stage now. And so, before reaching out to the plan, so the institution was established to ensure that we advocate for the welfare, the well-being of reporters, how reporters are being paid, how reporters commute to work, and challenges. It is intended to address challenges affecting reporters across the country. That's the major objective aim of the Reporters Association. This is why I was established. There are other issues that the Press Union of Liberia, the mother organization, we're here to handle. But there are other issues, especially with issues affecting reporters in the newsroom. These are issues we want to address. These are some of the things that the institution was established. Yes, I know on the other hand, the association has been deviating from their roles and responsibility, but the cardinal issue or the cardinal point for the establishment of the Reporters Association of Liberia is to advocate for the welfare and well-being of reporters across the country.
Great. In terms of that, you decided to contest. Why?
Well, like I said from my introduction, the Reporters Association is nearly dead now. I can't remember, unless you tell me, when was the last time you actively got involved in activities that, okay, the Reporters Association of Liberia has organized this symposium for reporters, right? There are too many things. The Reporters Association has actually been dormant over the years, and we intend to change the narrative. There are issues affecting reporters in Liberia. There are issues, there are challenges reporters are confronted with, especially within the newsroom. Many a times, like we continue to emphasize, reporters are underpaid. Even though we have the collective bargaining agreement, but reporters are underpaid. Even though we have the Decent Work Act that states that an employee should not make less than $150. But yet and still, media institutions across the country, Obed, they pay reporters $50 per month. They pay reporters $75 per month. And what actually hurts some of us, Obed, is that 75 to 80% of the media institutions in this country, especially the radio stations, Obed, they are owned and operated by politicians. They are owned and operated by senators, by representatives, by those who are actively into politics. And these are people, especially with regards to the issue of lawmakers, these are individuals who sign on to the Decent Work and pass that particular law. They pass that law, but they are operating media institutions, and they play a blind eye to this particular issue. Paying reporters $50, paying reporters $75. And the worst thing about this thing is, even the $75 or $50 they're paying these reporters, that money is not coming on time. Some of the reporters, they take them 3 months, 4 months before they receive a month's salary, $50. So we want to change the narrative. And someone asks, how do we intend to change this narrative? We do not have the power to carry media institutions or media owner or media managers to court. What we intend to do is to continue to bring media institutions to the spotlight. So our regular update to reporters after everything months, we assess all of the institutions. We don't need to go to this institution to assess. We have our colleagues there and ask them for the last 3 months. So we come out with this report and they come out and say, okay, for example, Kear Radio for the last 6 months has not been able to pay for reporters a dime. We bring it to no, just for example now, right? So we bring it to the spotlight. Now, the issue here is you will not be having a broad voice, because we use reporter. You only the reporter 6 months. But when a government institution protesting somewhere for 1 month salary, then you send the same reporter to go and cover that protest. That is a complete contradiction. When you put in the man 6 months, then you send the man to go cover 1 month, the government protesting somewhere, and then we sit on the radio. Reporters or other training media institutions on a regular basis to ensure and
that's the problem of paid salaries.
So we're looking for solution. So we have this plan. If we try all of these means where reporters are still complaining that they're not receiving their salary on time or in time, and then they have been employed. Imagine Obed, the last time we talked about how many media institutions in this country have been able to fully employ their reporters, fully employ them to say, okay, this is an employment letter to our reporters. Not many media institutions, they're doing it. Maybe they hire you today. Okay, yeah, my man, you are starting to get ID.
Okay, but that's one of your plans. Let's talk about other plans to help the association in your word. One is naming and shaming for unpaid salaries. What next? What are you going to do?
And there are several things we decide to implement. The first thing is we will organize a retreat right after the election. Maybe in the next 3-4 months, we want to organize a retreat where we bring all of the reporters together, because you cannot advocate for someone if you do not know their problems. You cannot advocate for any institution or individual if you do not know or you are not acquainted with the challenges they face with. So the retreat will be intended to ensure that we bring all of our reporters from the various counties, we bring them together, know their problems, know some of their challenges, and then we can start from there. Moreover, like I said, we'll be having a regular, update, maybe a quarterly update, giving our reporters, and we intend to move this time around. We intend to move the Reporters Association to our reporters in the county. Over the years, not many activities have been done, in the leeward counties, with in terms of the Reporters Association or even the President of Liberia. Now, many people are now turning the Reporters Association or the President as Monrovia-based Reporters Association of Liberia, because there are activities.
What will you do with the association?
So we intend to move the association to the reporters in the various counties. There are activities that we intend to, even our retreat will not be in Montserrat.
So what is your agenda for the
Reporters Association? Yeah. So we have this platform for RAL to as well. That is revive, advocate, and lead.
Okay.
So we intend to revive the Reporters Association. Like I said from the onset, it is practically dead.
Practically dead.
It is.
That is a description.
Right.
Current.
Right.
So we begin a lot of controversial issues at the association with it to back. Okay, you want to speak to that issue? I've been hearing, I've been following in several chat rooms about him being in some controversies with money issues, deals. What is the information at hand? What is the privileged information for the sake of our listeners that we want to know? Reporters out there listening to Kear Radio this morning, watching us live, would like to know what is it, and how are you intending to resolve that matter if elected as the next president of the association?
Okay, so last year, some reporters or members of the Reporters Association of Liberia, the associations have gone to election last year in November, but a complaint was filed against Willie Tupac that he misappropriated, I think, up to $3,000 for from the institution's cover.
Okay.
And so it prompted the PL to constitute a committee to investigate that particular, that which the PL had no option but to go on to the election until the investigation was conducted. And the investigation was conducted. They came up with the report. That report was released, and then The report is there. I think in my mind, he was found guilty of that particular report. So now the PEL, the committee recommended that he repay that money to the institution cover.
The investigative committee.
Right. So they recommended to the PEL that the way to pass to refund that money to the, but then as it stands now, the PEL do not have the full authority to do anything otherwise. So, okay, remember when you put grab you, put you in jail until you pay the money. It is not the function of the PEL. The PEL has conducted the investigation to the committee, and then the recommendations were made to the PEL. What they intend to do, the new leadership that will be ushered will be responsible to conduct an audit or enforce that particular committee report to ensure that we to pay that money. Because they imagine that committee report is not an indictment. It is still subject. We can still challenge that report. Probably you say no. That report, I got some issue with it. Maybe we want to go to court. Or the leadership can say, okay, we will have to go to court.
But what will you do?
So the first thing is to implement the report.
Okay.
The report from the
but when it took back to restitute
$30,000, we will first we will have to sit with him and tell him if he still wants to challenge the investigative report, then probably it will lead us to some legal action.
Okay.
It is not just what it took back, but the entire leadership.
The entire leadership.
Yeah, and what it took back leadership.
Okay, so you will take action against Willie Tupac to restitute $30,000 allegedly conduct by them. That is the candidate vying for the Reporters Association. He said he's going to go after them to ensure that the investigative findings is implemented, or legal actions will have to definitely come in. And so let's talk about other issues. Your relationship with reporters. You've been in the media for a decade plus, like you said. What kind of relationship have you with fellow reporters, and what have you done in terms of advocacy to help these reporters? Or are you just coming as background candidate because you've been around, you got friends, and so they will support you and vote for you? What have you done? What is your impact in the media, especially with reporters, for which they should trust you and give you that authority to do it?
Thank you, Obed. And I know you don't need to talk. You don't need to talk for me, but you know we stood our ground.
What have you done?
I can't believe you have I can remember when you were at Joy FM. They call the guy the strategic. He was on the radio before. The strategic. For Blasting Fire, and you know we stood up to Blasting Fire. So you were on the radio back then, and we challenged Blasting Fire that the government policy to say, okay, we should have essential staff and non-essential staff, and we said, but the PUL to agree to that was a recipe for reporters to lose their jobs. And you saw that, and we challenged the PUL, we challenged Blasting Fire, who was propagating that message, because by then we were money down with the government by then. So we challenged him and we challenged the PUL. But I mean, the will of the government obviously needed to, and you know, we can prevail or our consent. So we've been advocating. You know that we've been advocating
for the sake of the public.
We've been advocating for reporters across.
Specifically on what?
In 2017, 2018, I established a Young Journalists Association of Liberia. That group was here to work mentoring those students who just come from the media institutions, who just graduate, come in a few. Because some media institutions, one person come, they graduate, they come again, we call up, no direction, no mentorship. They say, "Mama boy, if you go look for news." So that group was established to advocate and provide mentorship for interns who just be getting a few, they don't know that way out. So we established that group. We've been working behind the scene. And moreover, in 2019, I was the head for the establishment of the Ministry of Information Reporters Network of Liberia. In fact, I spearheaded the Constitution Committee as chairperson. We drafted the Constitution, and then today we have a very unique um, uh, minute at the Ministry of Information. So these are some of the things we've been doing behind the scene. When you talk about whether or not, Ajay Kami as Barclay, my working relationship with reporters across the country, but Jeff can testify, and all of the reporters can testify. Look, at Kear Radio, almost all the reporters there is supporting Team Barclay. And proud of them, all the reporters there. Oh, I'm not saying the other reporters, all the reporters are proud of them because we're able to provide, one way or another, all of the guys, to work together, our working relationship are cool. I'm not that kind of person. When you need assistance, yeah, I'm there. I mean, I don't understand this. I'm always there. I'm always available. Like I said, in this race, I've been the only presidential candidate that almost visited all of the newsroom in this country. Almost all of the newsroom in Monterrey, because each time I go out of town, the first thing I do is go to Radio Compa. I mean, how you guys come? Proudly, National Today. So this is something I've been doing. Radio Compa, Radio Sakempa, all the radio. Any county that I have visited, I go to that newsroom and ensure that we have interaction. The last time we were in Norfolk County, that when we went to Norfolk County that year, 25 election, I visited two radio stations in Weah. Okay. Yeah, probably you know whatever, but I visited two radio stations. Even radio, it's a Tamatico, the deputy speaker, of radio station. So I visited, those radio stations in the country. So these are things that and like I was just telling you, the issue of lodging is about no cost.
So what's the source of your fundraising? I mean, how are you fundraising this campaign process? How?
Yeah, and very good. Then you know that reporters may file less than 100. And then I was on another platform yesterday. And I said, I challenge any media institution in this country that is paying reporters $300 US. 300. So how much reporters were making? But I mean, they are just been by the goodwill of of other Liberians, like people who've been contributing our life. In fact, this team is squarely supported, financially squarely supported by reporters. Reporters themselves, reporters themselves are contributing. They are laying $5, 10 cents. I can't tell you now because I'm not in charge of any funding. Share the banks from.
What's the projection of your campaign finances? What did you project that you spend for this election?
So we what we projected is around $3,000. Yeah, around 3,000.
Have you raised such funds?
Yeah, but I'm sure we are close to $1,000 now because some of them they committed themselves to contributing today, tomorrow, and in whatever way they will be in cash and account they contributing. But like I said, this entire process has been squarely supported by voters themselves and other meaningful, Liberians who think that okay, yeah, but the county is the way forward. Because like we continue to say, the ingredients of advocacy, the ingredient or the most important ingredients of advocacy is to speak out. We can go to an election where we have another candidate who is verbally challenged to lead reporters across the country. Many of our colleagues say,
are you measuring his workings basically on his impairment of speech? Is that what you're saying?
Whether I'm measuring his working?
Yes, that's what.
How can you advocate? How can you advocate? How can you advocate when you fight? You cannot cannot talk or you hardly express yourself. You cannot advocate that.
So you think your opponent is a weakling,
very weakling in terms of speech impairment, right? Serious.
Are you going to defeat him?
I think
will you
talk about the question is own statement because we have majority of our police in and around the country.
Are you
Well,
complacent of a win?
Maybe complacency would not be the right word, but we can boldly say that this election is almost like 110 margin, 110. Where I'll be 100%, remember it's down 10%.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the election commission and those who are spearheading that. Are incredible. Do you trust them?
well, one of the things I hate to play with is people credibility. Until you are trusted, until you are trusted, until you prove yourself wrong, then we question your credibility. But over the years,
Do you trust folks here getting the election?
right? Yes, I trust them because there are not any feature thing. Maybe there have not been any information with regards to the issue of credibility. Okay, the person was involved in this, it was, but until we can get that for what time since they were appointed last year, there have not been any issue of.
When is the election, Barclay?
The election is expected to be held on Saturday.
Where?
This Saturday, April 18, at the headquarters of the Press Union of Liberia. This is where the election will be having a debate. I'm still thinking as to whether or not we will have the Congress because some of our colleagues they intend to resist the Congress because the Congress is there to inform reporters with regards to the 3 years. The leadership need to inform the reporters with regards to 3 years operation. How they have been able to run the institute.
Let's hear the names of your members contesting on your team for the association. We're going to be wrapping up real quickly to go to our second segment, the prime discussion here on Kear Morning Show with His Excellency Sheikh Mustafa Kuyate. Let's hear your team members. Who are those contesting for other positions from your team?
All right, thank you. So, Barclay County who contesting for the presidency. The vice president is from Gibah County. Seiti Weah is from Gibah County. The secretary general, Blamonto from the Liberia. The assistant secretary general, Princess Kamara from Kear, the financial secretary, who is from the Danish newspaper.
How will you describe your team?
We have a very strong and solid team. Strong and solid team because
one message, thank you. One message for reporters listening, journalists listening.
Before the message, I just want to ask this question. There is this global circulating about some political interference into the process. Recently, there's an allegation that the Minister of Defense is supporting your opponent, Western Clay, that in fact there are some amount of that is corrected between $10,000 to $50,000 given to your opponent, allegedly.
Well, to be frank with you, Jeff, I just don't dwell on allegations until we can see. But even if he's getting $1 billion, and I want to say, okay, this is why when I listen to that thing, our colleague that says, gentlemen, don't worry. Because even if he's giving $1 million, people's minds are already been made up. Even if he's getting $1 million, and again, we don't want any political.
Barclay, are you playing with the issue of finance?
No,
you say minds are made up that money can influence election.
But when you in Liberia, you know how many presidential candidates have spent.
Are you not afraid with that? If possible, if to which we cannot confirm and verify, would making process in your favor?
No, but I mean, you don't know me to be that kind of person who's afraid of anything. I'm not afraid.
Have you said
I'm telling you,
interference?
I'm telling you, Obed, that even if you gave him $1 million, people, We want to, our give you instance that there are politicians in this country who have spent millions of dollars, but they not win election. You know that across the country. So yeah, money could influence certain things, certain decision to a larger extent. Money cannot, because when people minds are made up to go for this thing, they usually go for it.
Okay,
So,
thank you so much.
thank you, our colleagues.
Thank you so much. We'll give you 1 minute to speak to journalists across Liberia and reporters who are listening and watching us live on KCN TV and on YouTube on Kear Communications Network, Radio 95.9 FM. What have you to say to media practitioners ahead of Saturday's election of the Reporters Association? 1 minute to convince your
So
colleagues.
let me just make it clear that any attempt for the Minister of Human Sports, if the allegations are true, when to have us to contend with. We want to be clear on that. We don't want the RL to be a linked door to the government, because the matter of fact, you get the support, the let's say from the government, from the Minister of Human Sports, the People Association will be a linked door to the government. And we don't need that, because in fact, most of the violence that are perpetrated against reporters is only or from higher ups in government. Go scot-free. We don't want the Reporters Association. We are calling on all of our reporters across the country, in Monserrate, in Bomi, in wherever, or Grand Cape Town, to come out on Saturday to voting badly. Calling all of you, we want all of our police. You know, one of the major issues that have been racking the entire area is because we have this person from this other side, Zimbabwe, who practically was president, vice president from the other side, secretary general from the other side, and they have a mixed team. Some of them, they're not coming with, with the mindset to say, let's see area first, but rather we want to take side, and we want to.
Thank you, Barclay. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if some reporters are following and wants to weigh in this morning. We could take them 1-2 persons live on here. We're doing a live WhatsApp broadcast from the offices of Honorable Sheikh Mustafa Kuyate. Let's recognize some of you following us since this morning on Golden TV, Political Yes. Good morning, guys. I'm following from our research center in Kabul at the headquarters of the National Movement to support a better agenda. To hear one of Africa's voices, Tracy Weah is watching, and she says, I'm following, all of you following this morning. Drop your comments and concerns. We're going to read them out for you. Share our video, share our live broadcast on Facebook and other social media platforms as well. If you are a reporter and will participate in the election on Saturday, and you're listening to us via radio 0778 504-927, 1-2 calls. Let's see, who are you supporting for the Reporters Association of Liberia elections? And then we're going to take a very quick break to join His Excellency Sheikh Kuyate here this morning. So 0778-504927. Reporters, speak to us. You have your colleague Barclay Kane, who is asking you to support him for the elections, to spearhead all of the reporters in the Republic of Liberia. He said they have come to revive the association, to advocate and to lead the people of, to lead journalists of the association as well. Here with Jefferson Weah, and jointly we're bringing you this live broadcast from the offices of Sheikh Kuyate in Central Monrovia. Many thanks to all of you who are following us, watching. And yes, so if we cannot get 1 or 2 calls from reporters who are listening behalf of Fabric, I will ask Barclay to close up all his activities ahead of Saturday's election. What is your team doing?
As it stands currently, where we just having discussion with our police in the counties.
You need to speak up a bit.
Okay, yeah. Some will be coming tomorrow. Some will be arriving today in Monserrate County. Some will be arriving tomorrow. So we look forward with all preparations in terms of the feeding and lodging, everything is on course. So if I want, of course, all of our supporters from granted that those who willing to come, we really encountered some are willing to come to on their own expense. Okay? This is how the team on their own expense. The process we are expected to have a meeting 1 o'clock today, so that it will give us they can outline the entire activities for Saturday. The venue is at the President might be right.
Okay, thank you, Barclay. Thanks for joining us. Many thanks to all of you who are watching. Don't go away. We're coming up with an interesting conversation as well. Georgie, if you're there in studio, you can take control.
Take a musical break. Take a musical break, and of course, we'll join you later. Yes.
Okay, thanks so much for rejoining our studio. Those of you who followed us after that long break, we are back this morning in continuation of our program right here on Kear Radio 95.9 and of course on Obed TV, on KCN TV live this morning. This is the recording us. Thanks so much for joining us as we live coverage right here, and it's a part of our constant broadcast coverage and of course highlight issues of concern. Maybe our technician behind the camera and just move forward with the also coming back. Well, Jeff, we're back after the break.
Yes, we're back. Thank you to be here. As you said, yes, it is always our pleasure. And it's just what we normally do. Taking the break, you do. The show sometimes comes outside. We don't just sit. We come outside and give our guests the opportunity. Sometimes we press maybe your schedule. So we can go in the back and talk to our friends. So Ambassador, though he has been on our side, but it's a pleasure being here this morning again. Have this one-on-one conversation on the Kear Morning Show live on Kear Radio, and people across the country also live on YouTube. They also have the privilege or opportunity to watch this live interview. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, my dear friend. It's a pleasure being here, as usual.
His Excellency, good morning from my end, and I'd like to say thanks so much. Very impressive setup here. Wonderful office and historic bars and publics from our continent. So all of the presidents of the African continent currently serving that people as well. But how is it? How is the office and how?
Let me first say, I'm grateful to God for giving me the opportunity to serve. And I'm also grateful to His Excellency using me for the senior so as ambassador, and besides that, this office is the office that I'm very honored that I have the privilege among the 5.6 million Nigerians to be one of those who distinguish His Excellency Joseph City. And we have a very unique and dynamic team here. Everyone here in my office, as you're aware, when I was appointed by the President's Excellency, I made it clear that there was a commitment I made to the 2014. Fulfill that commitment, that is by solving our state without receiving any salary. And I said that in 2014, when I was running for Senate, that when I'm elected, I'll take 10% of my salary, and if I'm not elected for any appointed to any position of trust in government, I will serve my people and serve my government without any expectation of any funding and without any financial remuneration to my service. So that means because I believe that when you are serving in the public sector, it's not about reward, it's about prosperity. And when I was in the private sector, I expected a profit. But the duty itself now, I'm not expecting a profit, no one can. What I want to see, I want to see what a baby about itself. On that baby where the citizen will be dignified, on a baby where the sovereignty will be protected, on a baby where we see ourselves as one people, invisible, liberty, justice for all. I'm not concerned about a baby where we identify ethnicity. None of people want to be identified by religious affiliation. None of people want to be identified by geographical location. I look forward to that. That has been my vision, and that continues to be my vision. And my servitude to the state is from loyalty to Liberia, which is tend to His Excellency the President of the city. Apart from the president, I'm not about any of the same president.
Okay, and that's why you were appointed to work at this election. The last time you said this about not taking salary as an appointed official, and then someone said, "Who is this man who is refusing to be legal and just pay for the job he's doing for the library? How are you surviving in the absence of legal salaries and years in the job?"
I became a government official at age 46. I started basically at age 19. From age 19 up to age 46, I've been an independent person. And I had partnership with the outcomes in the Kear, like pulling for the car, I've been in business. So I hadn't sustained myself for government. So it's not strange for me that because I'm not doing because I'm rich. No, I'm not doing because I'm so satisfied. I'm so comfortable. I'm doing it because I made a commitment. So I don't want to be remembered as one of those who say my voice and not make time. Because I made a commitment, sometimes I have some challenges. But I have to stand it. The situation, the difficulties. It's hard. Some difficulties, but I accept it and I maintain it because I made a statement 12 years ago.
Okay, and so you have reaffirmed this as well.
Reaffirmed this for the rest of my life. Even I'm elected today for any position in this country, I will make it 10%. The only difference we do is that we'll make sure when I'm in elected position, and I just say, when you get for it, there'll be accountability when it comes to that.
But how do you receive reaction basically from the people who recommend this decision?
To be honest with you, I received a letter from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, by Excellency Sarah President. It was a letter from the commendation, and she has been very supportive. The Minister of State, the President of Affairs, very supportive. And President Joseph Imamwaka Senior has been very, very much supportive to me. He's always encouraged. He's always concerned about how we survive. They survive traveling. So sometimes when I'm traveling there, one of the times, but I must admit to you, all the president, that wasn't all.
Okay, let's talk about you advising. What do you do for the library?
My job is to build bridges when there are no bridges. To also strengthen ties when there are ties. To also show that Liberia is fully represented. So every mission that I go on, I never for private missions. These are missions for the state. And everything that based on my based on this connection of the state. Liberia is one of the oldest countries in the world and the oldest independent state in Africa. It's a renowned state, very, very good state. And the foreign minister will have today, based on the connection, international connection, and based on the ties of the president, based on the respect the national leader has for president, using him Baba Senior. It makes my work easy. So when I travel to other countries, I'm giving full attention. I'm all about the people that I share together, but I'm all about the people because I'm so.
Okay. All right. Your job is to do bridges. Since you've been elected, what are those milestones? How many bridges have you built so far?
You know, the work we do, when you put a mastermind, especially because we are unlimited. Special because includes every activities of government. So I, as an individual, when any project, this is what I've done because I'm not waiting. I'm working for the state. The state is an institution. Government, the president, the legislature. So when achievement that I have made, and that achievement that should be achieved here today is an achievement that must be achieved in this exercise. See it? And the state for presidential affairs, a measure of foreign affairs.
Mr. Weah, you were contesting for the Senate as vision for the country. You supported Mr. Waka. Today you have a president. What is your take? I want to get your opinion about this government you supported and how is it being impactful in rescuing the Nigerian people from all what the economy and so forth. Let's hear you.
But to be honest with you, Obed, and the public, whenever I see the president using democracy, I'm giving reassurances that there's a leader supporting and continue supporting. Okay. His concern has always been that he's never spoken about the message. When he never said he always speak about the message. His concern is always right there. He always asks this question: what can we most love as a state having been an independent state since 1847? For the past 178 to 79 years, what can we most love as not doing this? This has been his concern. And I share similar visions, similar views of him, similar opinion of him. And I don't believe that a lot has been done. This government, President Walker was not elected by Liberian people because he's the most popular politician. Nor was he elected because he's the most educated politician. Neither was he elected because he was the most connected politician. He was elected because the people trust him. So the job he occupies today, the presidency, is like a custodian. When you are a custodian of the state, as a head of state, whatever happens in that country, you are held responsible. When the government performs well, the glory goes to you. And sometimes the glory goes to some ministers. But when the government fails, every individual working in the government will say it is the president. We have seen an example today. Former President Charles Gibah is in jail today. He's not in jail because he committed any crimes. There's no evidence that Charles Gibah killed him. But because he was a leader, he bear the consequence of what happened yesterday in the government. And similar to today, we do this Weah, the former president, because he's a leader, and there were a lot of things that happened in the gym. They did it for famous like him. It doesn't mean that the individuals who are president are committing all crimes. But most people use the image and connection of our leaders to do wrongs to our people. I say this to you today. What can our country be? 148, 179 years. And education is a privilege. What country can we have? What wrongs to the is that I think we have to be sincere to ourselves. Those leaders or the leaders are not sincere to themselves. The citizens who are unaware of what they want. You know, in life, when you don't know what you want, is the biggest problem. This is one of the biggest problems in this country is that the citizens are unaware of what they want. When you go to the legislature, many of those who are in the legislature are those who have done wrong things for people, but they were elected by the same people who do wrong. When you look at our governance system, just imagine what reason we usually have been in banking. Which will ask you, yes, yeah. Then a top government official came out to defend that honor. When the vice president was trembling, how that could be that we have such resources. The young people are being used in this country for so long. They're only useful for election. And after election, is no nothing for them. Thank God to the new minister of this book, coming with practical, proposal and programs to see how we can have the young people be involved in governance, to see how they can be involved in participating in the development of our country. You sit down and ask yourself, we have many hospitals in the country. The government building hospitals. None of us go to public hospitals. We big hospitals that we don't even believe in the hospitals. We build private schools. We don't send our children to private schools. Then why have we build the schools? Why have we build hospitals that we cannot even go? We don't even trust the hospitals. Why have we graduate medical students? We don't even believe in them. We don't trust them. Why have we graduate engineering students for universities? We don't even trust them. 85% of contracts for brokers. And so the Liberian people were finding solution. And the only solution they could find among the 20 presidential candidates, and including myself at the time, was to find someone trustworthy. A man who served the state for over 40 years, who lived in one house over 30 years. They said, all of these people in Ghana who are contested, yes, they are not qualified. and retrogression. So I said to him, Mr. President, and he said, what are those things you want? I said, Mr. President, we fought war in this country. Of the persons, no one gave justification. 50,000 abuse, it is what lost the life in this country. Of the person, no one can give account of why those people were killed. Mr. President, it was a coup d'etat in 1979. The reason for the coup d'etat was because of Russia. In other persons, after the coup d'etat, no one gave justification that why, what Russian cases were involved. So, Mr. President, we're going to establish war in the ground. Justice can be or any man.
Thank you
for what you said, yes. The second one I said to him, Mr. President,
where are we?
I will conclude. Where can we put that? Firstly, he fulfilled his promise. The person who was known as a patriot, who was known as a peacemaker, who was known as a combatant for freedom, Madam Salif served 12 years as a president. She could not establish office. The man who was known as a downtrodden leader, who was known as a man who was come to redeem the people, served 6 years, he didn't establish office. But when he took over, he fulfilled his commitment in 1 year. He was able to establish whether it has started effectively or not. The first hope is that the code has been established, the office has been established. That is something that we can be.
Some people say the party is buying time.
Coming, brother.
Just establish an office.
First, the office is established.
How effective is the office?
It would be effective. I can say this. The second issue I said to the president, Mr. President, we have for so long we have had partisan president. We want to build a good president. And to tell you that he's my current president, the dean of cabinet never came from any department. The dean of cabinet was not even involved directly during the second round election. But he chose one as the Minister of Foreign Affairs because he's an inclusive government, it's like a very good government. I respect him for that. Thirdly, we said to Mr. President, there have been concession agreements being signed from 1847 of the persons. None has been in the interest of the period. And you must have courage to renegotiate those agreements. He said, I will do my best and I'll convince the legislature because when it comes to that decision, the legislature is the representation of the people. They should be able to do that and lead that campaign. Given with his time. So every time we have discussion, he always said to me, I wish I had the absolute power to do it. So what I did, I even put the speaker Cool, 4 different letters on the issue of concession. The speaker Cool, there's no way that Liberia can progress. There's no way that we can talk about prosperity. There's no way we can talk about dignity. There's no way we can talk about sovereignty when we do not have control over our land resources. We cannot continue to beg the international community in the name of grant or loan.
If actually I think these concessions, they're tantamount to colonialism.
That's what I'm opposed today. And I said that concessions are tantamount to colonialism. The difference between concession and colonialism is that colonialism where people, when introduced by people who live on our land, impose themselves as our leaders, took away our natural resources, occupy our land, possess our land, and use our people as slaves on plantations and on mines. But concession is our own people, people that were elected by us, were entrusted by us, decided to mortgage our land in the name of concession, have our people enslaved on mines, without our citizens are underpaid and foreigners are overpaid. where our citizens are not being taken care of, where foreigners are well taken care of, an agreement where our state has 3% royalty in our own natural for our own natural resources that should be used for the betterment of people and given to the people free of charge with mortgage. To me, that is more than even royalty. And I refer to many African government that many African government, because of our involvement with concession, because of our appetite for wealth, and because of our appetite for self-advancement, I see governments in Africa as crime scene.
Okay. So this is a brief
crime scene. Many governments in Africa as crime scene. Including the Liberian government, we do not
specify it and bring it down to Liberia. Yes. So my person was at one of the concession sites, which is Big Mountain, Cape Mountain. How do you describe this visit? First of all, there at that concession here.
The vice president, when he went there, I don't know the motive of the visit. Okay. But I know that it should have been something initiated by President Parker. Okay. They had been very much concerned on how our people have been treated by zero mines. They have been concerned how our natural resources have been taken out from here. So he trusted the vice president who will see how things went there, how our people living there, how are they treated. The information being given to us that what is true, but it is the amount of mineral they take from us, or what is false. So the vice president went there. And to be transparent, he decided to go to the media. And when he was told that a gold block cost $3 billion, that this company get 900 kilograms of gold every month, which is under estimated. I will say undeclared. It's just undeclared. I know what's undeclared. I'm telling you, I was in business. Okay, businessmen never return anyone interest. Business by definition is self-interest. So they only declared that they made 900 kilos. And he was trembling. He couldn't believe it. And he was not trembling because he was a coward. He was trembling because he had the trust spirit at the time of him. Even though he was one of those also who signed the ratification of the was a senator when the country was ratified. And I believe that day when the vice president was saying to himself, what can I do? What can I do to heal wounds inflicted on all of us? What can I do to restore the hope of our people in our government? What can I do to redefine our role as leaders? And that is why he came back to the president when he saw it. And I can say this to you clearly. The most frustrating thing is that when I heard my big brother and good friends, Senator Mabio, coming out defending the agreement, then I wrote a post. For the past 10 years, I've been disagreeing with concession. I've been saying that it's a need that we go into partnership. We must have gold refinery company in Liberia, where we have minimum 10% of gold. Imagine, Obed, 900 kilos of gold every month. In a year, it's 10.8 tons of gold a year. What they declare. So imagine that 1.6 billion. Imagine that don't mind the thing they give you. 10.8 a ton of gold. 1 kilo of gold is more than $150,000. Yes. Per 1 kilo. Correct. So 1,000 kilo. You just calculate that. So imagine Liberia having 30%. And that's minimum 10%. Imagine Liberia having minimum 10%. Liberia 10% in 10.8 of ton. Liberia will get nothing less than 3 tons. If Liberia had 3 tons of reserves, Liberia can trade the gold, but the gold remains here. Nothing they go out of this country, they go remains of Liberia trade as gold. Liberia can build bridges. Liberia can build schools. Liberia can provide stipends for our university students without students demonstrating. Liberia can provide quality health care out of the 3 tons. Out of the 3 tons. If I'm going out, it remains in the country. And we are all about this.
The conversation, I don't know, the conversation has widened to some extent with former Minister Magilla, Senator McGill. The current Minister of Mines also said it was overpaid expenditure by the concession company. So the debate is in 2 phases. That the company has overhead expenditure and contribute to development, but the general population is believed or placed under the impression that these people are only getting $1.6 billion, and that is just it.
I'm saying to you, sincerely, we, the leaders of this country, and as you see it ourselves, and as you see it in our people.
Why do you say so?
I say this because there's no reason why anyone can defend what's happening to our people. Just operate is of 3% royalty. Let's agree. They spend millions of dollars. What they do to us when we nationalize our natural resources. What they do to us when we say no gold leaves this country of this, it is refining Liberia. And then it goes to the refinery. What they do to us if Liberia has 10% of share. What they do to us when we change possession to action. What they do to us when we create jobs for people. What they do to us when we take different livelihood for our people.
You don't think the Unity Party government
This is not what
is thinking in such a direction?
The president is thinking about this. It's how he came with a mission, a clear mission to ensure that Liberia is getting back to Liberia.
Let's give you some time to take a break. Those of you who are following us, you're listening to the Kear Morning Show live from the offices of His Excellency Ambassador Sheikh Al Mustafa. We're talking national issues, and of course, the hot boiling conversation now is the issue of concession and how these concession companies are actually trying to steal from the Liberian people. So, and the visit of the Vice President, what difference will it make? That is my next question to you.
The difference
will it change?
It will change.
Will it transform? Because aside from just getting natural minerals, Ambassador, the environment for which these things are happening, go to banking my country today and see the aftermath of that particular mining activities over there.
You know,
is that also a concern?
It is a concern. You know, the president said some times ago that God is not creating new lands.
Yeah.
And I will repeat that same statement. That God is also not creating new minerals. If we lost everything we have now, the next generation will have nothing. Nothing. So we must begin. UAE have oil. They no longer have oil. They wouldn't use it in a refinery. People bring their oil there, they refine their oil. They no longer have oil because God is not creating new oil. And the minerals we have today, God is not creating new one for us. What do we have? They will utilize it for the betterment of our people, to provide dignity for our people, to protect our sovereignty. We will regret it.
Will the Vice President visit, just before Jeff comes in, will his visit transform the current mineral sector of our country to a better one?
I believe that the Liberian government will begin to take action. You know, this country is known for taking action when someone dies. We never create queue for illness until someone dies of the sickness. Now that the people are aware, and that our company declared that they get 900 kilos a month, which is amounting to 10.8 tons of gold per month. Then imagine a centimeter. And the centimeter also under declared, and also over declared his investment in Liberia, 8 billion. The 8 billion, when it was investigated, it was below that. The question is, what did we do? We, the Liberian government, ratified and extended their concession, extended their lives. It is sometimes when I think about how policymakers, the legislature operate in this country, I just sometimes believe that there's no need to have legislators. Because why should you have representatives of the people when they do not even protect the interests of the people? Why should you have people who should be responsible for oversight of laws, who do not even care to read the laws? We have people in our house who are unprofessional, who have no idea about laws, who even have no idea about themselves. Who do not even know what they call responsibility? And we rely on them to make decisions for our state. For them, yes, sir. This country needs a healing. God has played his part. God doesn't have to come here to do anything for us. If God was to be the one to develop a country, Africa should have been the greatest and most developed countries in the world. Because Africa, generally, we the African people, our love for God is so much. Sometimes when we are creating go here, open the door, we say, God will open the door. You have hands to open the door. You have hands to wake up to go and open the door. You say, God will open the door for us. But when we are not sincere to ourselves, in Africa will not rise when Africans are not understand.
Okay, Ambassador Kear, you have to come on this. The lawmakers, sometimes in 2024, visited the mountain, and a whole lot were uncovered. But the Gibah committee came by, and we hear still nothing has been said about this. And recently, the vice president visit also. If you ask an ambassador, you sit with President Bakai today, maybe to give your own analysis or recommendations to President Bakai, since this enrichment was extended by the former regime president CDC. What would you recommend specifically to President Bakai so as that Liberia can start benefiting from more resources?
My first recommendation will be to President Bakai. Mr. President, visit President John Mahama of Ghana. Visit the Botswana president and ask them how are they managing their natural resources. Let the legislature of Liberia go to Botswana, go to Ghana, have a joint section, and discuss minerals, discuss natural resources. What you learn from there will be the best lesson. Botswana is one of the most peaceful countries in the world, one of the most beautiful countries in Africa. Botswana only have diamond, but because it's well managed, and the people have been represented in the management, the people have been represented in the negotiation, in all contracts. Botswana citizens do not have to worry. They do not even worry about what we do here. Ghana is about to withdraw for IMF through the leadership of President John Mahama. What are they withdrawing? It doesn't make sense to go to IMF and borrow. If we have gold, we nationalize our gold. We take charge of our land and our resources, and we use it for the betterment of our country. We don't need to go to anyone to borrow for anyone. So my first advice to the president, please meet President John Mahama and the president of Botswana. Meet with them and ask them, what do you do that make your country prosper in terms of managing natural resources? The second issue will be the president should challenge the legislature publicly. He has been discussed with them in private, publicly, when he gave the SONA. I wish that we have a legislature that will protect the interests of the people, a legislature of oversight for the betterment of our country, a legislature that will look and see the reason that there should be renegotiation for every concession agreement that is signed in this country. Legislature. You know what things in this country, when elections are won, the people have just 2 years to wait for the people. They have 2 years to get what is stole, what is spent. They have 2 years for merit making, and they have 2 years for campaign. The 2 years for campaign is when they make commitment. And the 2 years for campaign, when they make commitment, is come closer. Say President Buhari can't come for speech now. Our lawmakers will come out. You know, many of them are very good pretenders. They are very hypocritical. And when you hear them speak, you feel so comfortable, you feel so relaxed. And indeed, these are leaders for us. But we do not have leaders at the legislature. We have abilities. All the contract that was signed, they accepted it. I said that didn't impose any contract on Liberia. Beer Mountain or MEG didn't impose any contract on Liberia. China Union didn't impose any contract on Liberia. APM didn't impose any contract on Liberia. The concession goes on and on and on. All the concession agreements were signed by our lawmakers. We invited them. We called them investors. And they come, we work with them and run our own country. What manage our natural resources in the name of seeking international. Guess what frustrated this video? What? One of the heads of the mining chamber said to me that if they invest, these people were brought by Madam Salif. And the contract were defined by President, from President Weah. You'll be your investors for the near term. Seriously? This person is an Liberia. They would have left him and went home. You know, this called well. Every morning at 3 a.m., the train leaves with our natural resources. At night, without any accountability. And I always ask myself, what would I say to my children? What would I say to my children? And President Weah doesn't sleep at night. He has the same question, unanswered question. But I said to my government, does not give the power to unanimously say that this concession agreement will be renegotiated today. The Guinean president, Mamadi Doumbouya, cancelled all concession agreements, over 100 concession agreements. So let's renegotiate. America is working with them. China is working with them. Russia is working with them. The Middle East is working with them. But this other country, we are afraid, oh, if we talk about revisiting concession, America will have problem with us. So when America has problem with us, then we will not be able to succeed. And these are things that are helping us back. And I can say this to you. Until Liberia begin to have a Liberian president, if our Liberian president is not one who will subject himself ourselves to America to dictate for you how to lead you. It's Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker is like our Liberian president, like President Trump. Okay. The challenge he has today is the legislation. The biggest challenge for him is the legislation. And some of those are people who are running in the executive. You know, I've been doing President Walker for the past 20 years. He had now been flashing. But recently, when he was going to open the ship of the Moruga Mall, and I saw how President Walker was dressed, and I looked at his shoes, and I looked at the tuxedo, the shirt he had, and I looked at the shirt. I said, "This is not the president." He didn't choose. What kind of president you saw there? He didn't choose to dress that way. I know someone told him he's a president. People didn't trust. This will be very nice on you. Clothes that Mr. President Walker didn't wear when he was his sisters. I used to that's why you wear them at least. And I'm saying to us today, those of us in government today, now he's president. Let's remind ourselves. Now he's president. Now he's president. Then we must support him because he's a genuine president. The president Obed me. But I was very close to the former president. And he still respects him. And respectfully guided him, respectfully advanced him. And President Walker will say this to you, that for every time Sheikh Weah meets me, he never talked about anything personal about himself, nor does he talk about anything about finding a job for people. He always speaks on the issue, national issues, how can we move forward. And I say this to you, I'm speaking the way I'm speaking now, because the president we have. Because he agreed to his personal stuff. He gave the green light. He said, speak my mind. Oh God, this is so frustrating. What independence are we going to be celebrating? Celebrating one is on the night independence where there's no quality education for our people? Allocation of several of 100,000. We have fertile can I feed ourselves? When we have shortage of imagine we have shortage of petroleum product in this country. We are giving our oil blocks to foreign companies. What will it do to us? We renegotiate the contract and say, identify one of the African countries that has succeeded in mining the oil blocks. Does President Walker have to go to revisit? President Walker has to Yes, he finished there. He can do it, but he cannot do it because the system of governance we have
Is the legislature our problem?
the legislature is our problem. The legislature is our problem. And I think that if the legislature refuse to renegotiate any concession agreement that is signed in this country, that we must all campaign against every lawmaker to have them in place.
And the lawmakers themselves visited the concession.
Guess what? When they contract we signed during the Senate term, they will pick us, give it to all lawmakers and senators. There was one person who refused to speak up. He's a former senator of one country. What's his name? This old man.
Is it from Washington?
Yeah. No. The former senator. I forgot his name. He's the only person who refused to speak up. And somebody else saying, no, I'm talking about one country. I'm talking about one country. It was the only person who refused to speak up. Every concession agreement that they pass in this country, you know how they pass it? They get money for lobbying. The money that's given, they empower individual representatives.
Money for lobbying to
Among themselves.
the lawmakers.
They don't make us, they give them money. That's what do you call allegation? You imagine the former speaker, he said that in our budget, that when they are doing budget allocation, they will go to a political hotel, they have a room. The former speaker said that even he was a speaker. They have a room, they will call this ministry. Ministry of Agriculture. We have 3 million. So in the 3 million, the we can pass it, I will give you this one, we will take this ourselves. You will increase, they will keep it. Minister of Finance, Minister of Education, the same thing.
Is that your reliance to say that renewable concessions are sound law because they
You know, when I was from government in Africa, as a country, these are some of the things that I showed you. And these are evidence. Like people who are in leadership, don't such things in our presence. That convinced me that government in Africa is a crime scene. One would be living in a rented house. The moment he becomes a minister, in 6 months, he built a mansion. That's when it's being paid. Yes, you pay. What is the salary? It's not possible. It's not possible. This is why we have the problem. Because we are sincere to ourselves. You know, say, why much is this person paid? Police, our security sector, immigration being paid around 100 or 140. Some of them even below $100. And you think they can provide security? Men who do nothing, they just come to the area that it costs noise. They get over $5,000, $10,000 a month. They go there, they send me there twice a year. I look forward to a new Liberia where legislators will not be. You know, imagine some of them even elected on a party ticket. When they're elected, they will leave that party and they still be lawmakers. Let's see how unsincere they are. But I can see the same, my brother. If Liberia must move forward, we Liberians must take charge of our country. We must be sincere to ourselves.
How do we take charge of this nation?
It's easy. The first thing is about being sincere to ourselves. Okay. Why should I build a public school? My kids are in public schools. Let the president, let the government come up and say that every government official must have a certificate in public schools. Let's provide quality education in public schools. There's a school here called Hila International School. It's not taking the curriculum of area. No. And we have many government officials out there children. And that's not in the school. There are many schools. So why should you, at our university, for example, I'm still a student there. You go to University of Liberia, we use a blackboard and chalk. You don't find anywhere around. People doing master programs, they're doing blackboard and chalk.
And you have the current speaker.
And you go, I went to teach. Then I went to JFK. My aunt, she was sick. 6 months ago. When I went there, we sat out for 4 hours. While we out there, because there was no bed for her. We had to wait for someone to leave the bed so she could take another bed.
All of us are cognizant of
we had to wait. So when you look at the budget,
and every time
when you look at the budget, you look at national budget, agriculture, minimum amount, education, minimum amount,
Even in the
youth development, minimum supplementary minimum, but we have something huge in the national security. What we call national security.
the man you supported, Mr. Waka, is the one submitting this to the Ministry of Finance, a supplementary and additional budget to our 1.2 or $1 billion budget, 1.2 billion.
Because we realize.
And agriculture was capital low, 500,000. And everybody get agriculture. And agriculturalists. What does it mean to us as a nation?
It means a lot. Government is not one person. When it's a failure, it's a collective failure. When it's a game, it's a collective game. We, the people, must begin to question our leaders.
Why do you think more money have been poured in the security sector? Every time is the NSA, every time is the NSA, every time is the NSA. Millions of dollars goes to the NSA, to the FBI.
And guess what? Most of the information are false. Let me give you a technical example.
Who's information?
The former Minister of Finance claimed that there were some millions of dollars used for national security. The former NSA, the former boss of the army came out as a witness. The former Minister of Defense came out as a witness that he lied. So most of the information right. You heard the former speaker say that we just call it some cause and interest. This country needs an iron.
The budget
needs to be cramped.
Needs to be from the executive before reaching the legislature.
Yes.
And in the minds of the executive, they made the allocation and promoted that for the national security.
Let me just say one thing. Let me give one example. During the president, when he was speaking the other time during the solar, the president was misinformed that schools, that students will receive free food. The president was misinformed that there were rules being made, that rules have been completed. And because people who he has in those positions are people he trusts, he relies on them. And after that speech, he was very furious. Very furious.
Was that action taken?
And he said to them that those things that he said, if you don't do it, you will miss it. And I can tell you, see, there are a lot of bishops coming on right now. A lot of bishops. And I can say this to you. No matter what we think we are, who we think we are, no matter our position today, there were people there yesterday. And no matter how powerful, what you think that you are powerful today, there will be people tomorrow. When you look at former ministers during the time of Salim, some of them are now walking by life. Some of them have nothing to do. When you look at some former ministers during the time of former President Kear, some of them are now homeless. Some of them have nothing to do. They should be reminding yourself. Many of those who are in government now were in government during the time of Salim. What did they achieve? You build some homes for yourself. When you leave power, you can never get those homes. If you compare to sell those homes, no one would take a free money from the state and say you will have a peace of mind. The karma, if it doesn't come to you, it will go to your children. I can say this to you: Liberia is a great country, and Liberians are great people. It is left for us, the government, to choose when our people should be dignified or indignated.
You said address a great country before we just take a break. I mean, how can you say this nation is a great country when in the morning time we're still lacking a whole lot? When people want to prepare for hunger, when there are more poor people in this country, and we are endowed with natural resources. Every time it's about the people, lack of job creation, even with the rescue government. How is a great nation with poor people and hungry people?
Once again, Liberia is a great country. A country with a better story. A country with huge potential in terms of youth, huge human capacity, huge potential in terms of natural resources, huge potential in abundance of water. The livelihood of our people, the way of people are living, and now how they choose to live. When they are living the way they are living today, because of how people are elected. And those people that are elected in our government systems, they enjoy having the people being kept that way. The politicians in this country, including myself, feel very good to have the citizens suffering. And that will actually provide opening for them. They become philanthropists. In Liberia, it is only politicians who build big homes. In Liberia, it is literally politicians who are philanthropists. The job of a representative is not to build roads for the people. The job of a representative is to advocate for good rules for your community. And that is projected in the budget. The role of a representative is not to build toilets for your people. The role of a representative is to ensure that people have decent homes and homes who have toilets. The role of a representative is not to build schools in your name. Then you say you provide a school. The school you build in your names, people are paying schools for you. You should be coming for policy that education should become a right instead of a privilege. I can provide, must take me to go to school. But what about a market woman who's in the market, who's been paid, who after selling, she makes $5 per day? And she has to, they said government schools are free or universities are free. Nothing free here. Oh, they are not being paid tuition, but they pay for pamphlets, they pay transportation, and other things. So nothing free. And all this so provided. Yeah, so how do you expect education to be privatized when it's become a privilege instead of a right? Okay, without just wanted to talk on the game water issue and water. Ambassador, you've been following the situation. I mean, diplomatically, what's your stand on this whole sort of map of entry as we speak? We're still receiving videos coming in that the Guinean soldiers are still on the Nigerian soil. There's a whole conversation, controversial statements going across this entire situation. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, I want to be able to speak on that issue because there's investigation going on now. And the president appointed the Minister of Justice for the investigation. And I was among the team that went to Guinea, that went to Lofa. So I can speak on that. One of them was investigated by police as well for statement that the what's it in terms of that statement made by Representative Kear, which his colleagues have accused him of, and he's currently being investigated. When a lawmaker will come up, when there's a dispute on a line, and so this line doesn't belong to us, it belongs to all of it. Without any investigation, without any legal documentation, that individual should be cautioned about patriotism. That individual should be cautioned about nationalism. I have nothing personal against him, but I keep wondering what sort of leaders we have in our country. That's what I'm saying to you. That leadership and the legislature have become an ability of us. If you were at the legislature, what side would you have taken? Will you support the removal of Representative Kear for that statement? Or you support the side that if I was a member of the legislature, the first action I would have taken was the former speaker, Kear came out and distributed money that way. I would have taken legal stance against the entire legislature. So the Kear, Honorable Kear could be the state witness to provide names of those individual lawmakers who are collecting this money. That is more dangerous than what this guy did. Do you think it is a waste of time? The legislature is a waste of time. The legislature is a waste of time. It's a waste of funding. I don't respect them. I must say there are few people that I might respect, but many of them I respect them because they do not respect the set of people. All the constitutional agreement have been passed by them. The problem we have today, they have caused all those problems. So I can say this to you: the collective guilt of legislature, no one will cause sin. They are all sinners. All right, so this is the Kear Morning Show here on Kear Radio 95.9, and we're live on KCN TV and YouTube, Kear Communications Network, coming to you live today from the offices of the Ambassador at Large, His Excellency Ambassador Sheikh Mustafa Weah. And of course, it's time that we interact with the public. You've been following, you've been listening to discuss wide range of issues, also live on other social media platforms, including Golden TV. Obed, Gibah, and we're here, and after TCC is behind the camera. You call us on these numbers as we will take your course shortly, and so that we can also hear you. What you make of these conversations here as you listen to the ambassador? He has spoken lengthily. So let's take your course on 0778
504-927-0778, 504-927. This is an exclusive number that we're using here. So do not call the main studio line. You can call 0778 504-927. That's the number you can use to call this morning. If you are listening to us, following us on the radio as well, call that number. And of course, you'll be live this morning on the show as we interact with Ambassador Kear here from his office in Monrovia. 0778 504-927, 0778 504-927. That's the number exclusively for the show this morning outside here. So we are with your course on the Kear Morning Show this morning. Obed, Jefferson, Weah, and of course, our guest is Ambassador Chef Kear. We have course coming in already.
No, okay, so let's go to Facebook and recognize some of those people, some of the folks who are covering as well. Incoming tenant owner said the audio isn't good. I don't know what's going on. Hope our guys are taking note of that. Michael, fast taking policy, can you please ask him for his recommendation towards the unit border situation? He said, okay, the audio is good now. Since Mr. Kuyate was appointed and he has been silent on a lot of issues, he's losing for someone said that maybe he will speak to that issue. Dominic said, good morning, guys. I'm watching you from Cabo. Dominic is watching. Tracy Way says, I'm following political audience, also following us. We would like to say thank you so much to all of you who are joining us on the show and on Bowling TV as well. Those of you who are following us, drop a comment. We're going to read it out for you this morning on the platform. And apparently, folks are calling on the main line.
Yeah.
From what I'm getting. But
yeah, so I will just announce again. Yes, I will just announce again. Please do not call the main studio line because we're outside. So maybe Josh, if you would just call on 0778 504-927. We've pinned the line already. We've already pinned the number, so you can call 0778 504-927. Do not call the main studio line, folks. Yes, just call the numbers that we're announcing, 0778 504-927. And also do not call a personal line because you will not get me as well. So just call the number that we've pinned and we're announcing so that you can be a part of the conversation this morning. Our guest on the show is Ambassador Sheikh Weah, the ambassador at large. We hear from his office, broadcasting and having this special edition of the Kear Morning Show this morning. We talked about a wide range of issues as well.
yeah, and someone was saying that they're not advocating here. The king says to go and protect. Can you speak to that?
You know, when you are in government, you're not an advocate. Representative, you're not great people. You speak for them. And for every time I appear on radio or when I go to places to speak, I never even know the challenge you have. Even though I mention some of the opportunities that we create for people. And if I was not advocating, if I was being the shaker, what I'm saying here today, I'm not saying those things. And I'm not speaking to impress anyone. I always speak to impress my conscience and live in the confine of consciousness.
Okay, so I take it out for call here on the line this morning. Good morning. What's the name where you call from?
Your speaker here.
And I think the national movement to support a better agenda and movement. I want to take this time. I listened to the deliberation of the ambassador. He spoke as a patriot. And I think it's like if we can have a team of Sheikh and Mustafa Kuyate, that we will become a better place and a transformed nation. because of the insincerity of some of our leaders, that expected there. Some of our leaders are very insincere because specifically the national legislature, where you have people sitting on national resources, natural resources, is causing issues that are interesting to them and navigation. But the reason when I hear people running around, I'm from Rankin County. When I hear people running around with this information that the past president went to Beer Monte and was pronounced that, oh, 1 billion has been generated a year, and people think, people pretend as if it is a shocking news. They think this vice president was in the legislature when they haven't signed up the development agreement. The speaker in the legislature, when they haven't signed up constitutional agreement, the speaker and other lawmakers, some of them are still there. So what is strange thing that somebody will come out and say, I said the news that they just got is a news that generated from nowhere. It's actually wrong. So I want to say thanks to Ambassador Weah. You know, they are saying that speaking truth to power. They are fighting some of our mind to explain that we just want to see him at the level that you will have the authority to speak, to do the needful things that Liberia needs. But because you know this too is that people like Chef Weah who's supposed to be at the echelon of power, you will see Liberia will tell you, oh, we do not have we chose that name. We chose him to bring people that they feel the choice and then they will down to us. So this thing that Lord, thank you, Chef Weah. We hope and pray that one day we get there and Africa will be part of you now.
Okay, thank you so much as well for your concern. The political year for also joining us. We'll still be told that some of the folks are calling on.
Yeah.
So I just sent the number to line over there, and of course, yeah, you can respond to one of the viewers' concerns, and then
You know, this country, once again, is a great country. And Liberians are great people. I have no doubtness in the greatness of our country, nor the nobility of our people. What I do know is that we, as a government, people rely on us to provide leadership. We must do everything possible to support the people, to uphold the respect, the confidence of people, to provide the leadership deserving for them. And I also want to remind myself and other government officials that we are not better than those who are in government. We're not better than those who elected us, who appointed us. When you are called leader, the true leader are not those who are power. The leaders are those who give power. The people are the leader. And we are the servants. Because the people pay us. The people provide us vehicles to move around. Even lawmakers that have homes, the people pay rent for their own homes. Whether they're living in their own house, their own houses. There are people pay for the rent of where they live. We have electricity. And the people pay generators, pay for fuel for the generators home. Even though they have gas, they have generators or have electricity, the people pay for it. Those are also who are in the executive, in the judiciary. The cars we drive are given to us by the people. Our children are going to better schools. The money we use to pay schools, the school fees, are money given to us by these people. It will fail to represent the people. It will fail to uphold the confidence of the people. Then our existence will be nothing but vanity. I'm urging us all. Above our heads, the people. Above our heads, Liberia. Liberia for so long has suffered. God has played his part. We do not need God intervention anymore. There are countries that Burkina Faso that do not have a sea. And God gave us sea, ocean. We have access to Atlantic Ocean. We have fertile soil. When Israel doesn't even have a land, they have to use fertilizer to grow food. We don't need fertilizer here. When you look at other countries in the Middle East, their foods are imported from other countries because they don't have land to grow their own food. We have abundant land here to grow our own food. And we are always busy not busy about technology, nor are we busy about creativity, nor are we busy about the upliftment of people. We are always busy about you for this tribe, for that tribe, for this religion, for that religion. What has tribe done for us? Maybe one tribe that was part of the Declaration of Independence. No tribe in this country was part of the Declaration of Independence in the country. So we must see ourselves as one Liberia, one people, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think we also have another person on the line. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Jeff, but you president for Simple Bush, I call for the people facing Simple Bush.
Be audible a bit. Be audible a bit, Mark. Let's hear you.
I have some disappointment to the minister because
Who
the minister
minister?
used to be one of my favorite advocates and one of my big brothers.
The ambassador or the minister?
I'm not a minister, I'm an ambassador.
Yes, or the ambassador. I'm sorry for that. The minister, I saw him when I was a kid coming up, and 2020, 2023. I admire him so much of him being very much vocal on some ills during that time of George Weah regime. But today, it pains me to see the minister.
The ambassador.
Yes, see him relaxing. I recommended to President Bata about the situation about Weah, where some of our parents came from. It is so disheartening. And we are listening to him this morning.
Marco, did you follow the conversation? He said he reserved comment on that NOFA issue due to current investigation.
How long will the investigation come out? How long? Almost months now. Almost months, we cannot see any step by this government. And the minister saying that he's waiting for investigation. I think the minister they need to act, go to Guinea, do a lot of research, and there are a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I think he wasn't listening when you did that. But for the sake of clarity, maybe you want to.
Yes, we have the government of Liberia headed by His Excellency the Senior is in charge. He's highly respected by the President of Guinea. He's highly respected by the President of Sierra Leone. And diplomatically, he has 4 many goals in of his presidents. What I can say to you, Liberia land will not be taken. Liberia land will be removed for Liberia. But the investigation will come out. And the true message will come to the Liberian government.
The message is arriving now. Because of the position.
No, but I'm still speaking. I don't think anyone in government is speaking. I will not speak for. Let us be my voice. I've never changed anything. I've not been a press singer. I always speak my mind. I don't care what is the consequence of it. I always speak my mind. And I respect the opinions of other people. And I also respect the opinion. I just want to encourage him that Sheikh Weah, as long as he lives, he will always be the Sheikh Weah.
Let's close up on your foundation and some activities. As we're running out of time, there's another program coming up in studio. Ambassador has your foundation, and what are you doing basically with the foundation?
You know, when we started the foundation, issue one safe for international 2014. When there was issue for help, we have a help answer for Ebola at the time. And when that happened, people, you're one of those to testify. People were confused how to protect the dead. They say how to bury the dead. And I was going through an institution, each one safe international. At the time, I was contesting for the Senate. And I refused to campaign. And I used that as a mission to restore hope for people. I said, there's no need to be elected as a senator. People are dying. So I diverted my campaign from the political campaign to social, to protecting the lives of our people. And we were one of those. We had medical practitioners who were hired and by the institution from the community care of people, how to protect the sick person. We went forward to lower community against our need. And the issue with that. Cremation was not something that was part of our culture. And they said, oh, because you're in politics, and we cannot give them, but recommend an institution to us that we can give them funding so they can have land to bury We were able to introduce to them National Convener Council exam headed by Chief of Kanwa and Ma'am Sukomo, the former State Commissioner of West Point, my sister Fufana, were the one who were in that project. And through our advocacy, they got land and they were taught how to bury the people. So cremation was put to an end and our people were buried. And when we seen each one Safe International, before each one Safe International, we have what we call Youth Against Justice Arms. And after the civil crisis in the late 90s, as a young man at time, below 20, organized youth against justice and provided support for young people, including garbage collection, collect them, garbage collection house to house. Whatever we are paid, we share with them, and most of them were encouraged to the school. So these are the humanity philanthropies have been my passion. So today we have the Shakespeare Foundation now. We transform all them to Shakespeare Foundation. Last year we provided medical equipment for GFK because my aunt could not get a bed. So when I went out and looking, we were able to get some bed and all medical equipment worth $645,000 and was able to GFK. And that container was open, even an inch of pin was not taken from there by me or anybody from my team to bring it to us, give everything out. And now we have started a project now. We are negotiating with one of the international organizations. We're trying to build a resort place called Africa's Village. And it's going to be a very big thing. We're going to have school and other things there for people. At the same time, we also provide scholarships for students in the area, in other private institutions. And also we supporting good governance, state governance and other things. We also working now with the EU to see how we can get some support. We have our young people, young brothers and sisters who have graduated from high school and they don't have a job. So to make them marketable for a job. So the foundation is in a lot, but it's headed by Mr. Chia Kade. Mr. Chia Kade is agriculture, he's a former minister, assistant minister of agriculture. And he was one of those who was on my back, a very professional and trusted person. And the foundation belongs to government people.
Is that a backdrop for which you received a lot of international awards the last time you were in Nigeria? And
the award given to me in Nigeria as a best diplomat in Africa was not given based on a confrontation, but basically based on a performance of the American government. Based on the performance President Joseph Gibah and performance of our excellence, Cecil Investment in South African Affairs.
Okay.
And quite recently, I also received a lot of similar award in London. That was a global recognition as the best diplomat award. And it was not based on my performance as Secretary of Weah. It was based on the performance of our government head by President Joseph Gibah Senior. And also,
so the board of governors performs the board
recognized because whenever I vote, I don't vote to represent myself, I vote to represent the government. So whatever that is given to me, does belong to me.
Thank you.
When I was a private citizen, I didn't see those awards.
Thank you so much for going on. 2 minutes now for you to say goodbye to us. And those who are following will still receiving messages that folks are calling out there. And the connectivity is difficult for us from having here.
Several areas. All we have. We are the oldest country in Africa. This country was created as a safe haven for every African. Liberia by nomenclature, it means the land of liberty. Let's ensure that we all seal the vessel of liberty. Let's allow freedom to reign. Let's see ourselves move as one people. Let's forgo the issue of ethnicity. Let's forgo the issue of religion, affiliation. Let's see that barrier as our common denominator. When we continue to embrace ourselves as one people, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all, we begin to think that barrier, love that barrier, we can build that barrier. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Those of you who are following us on Golden TV and other platforms, we'd like to say thanks so much to our guys, the grand crew, also really. We'd like to say thank you so much for carrying us on 95.9 here in Monrovia. Thanks to our viewers for being there, and thanks so much for always following us on our YouTube channel, Kear Communications Network, and on Facebook, KCN TV, Golden TV. We'd like to say thanks for following us. On that note, we'll conclude today's edition of the program, guys. The program comes on tomorrow morning, but with the Fridays presenters, that's Aloysius Chi and Lee Monju on tomorrow. Yeah. And so then, yeah, studio is up to you. Thanks again. Have yourself a wonderful day.